Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where I'm leading you step by step through the ABRSM Theory Grades. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets. You can download those in US letter or A4 and they accompany each step of this series. There's a page with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials on that website, and you can also access information about the books that I have available. I've written How to Take Your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's full of tips and techniques on how to best prepare for your exam and also how to best make use of the time when you're in the exam room on exam day. So if you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find it all there. If you can give me a like, that'd be really great, and subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more in store. And now we're going to carry on with the paper B, and we're looking at question 4. So if you turn with me to page 8, we're going to carry on with question 4. And so question 4 asks us to add the correct clef to make each of these named notes. They give us the first one. And so we can see here that this needs to be a treble clef for this to be D. Every good boy deserves. Otherwise, if this was written in the bass clef, that would be note F. And so this wouldn't tally. And so you just need to make sure that you keep your eyes peeled and just count up the letters in the treble or the bass clef to make sure that it all matches up with their letter. So have a crack at this. It doesn't matter if you get some wrong. You can always rub them out and try again. And it's always better to just have a go and learn by your mistakes. And so we'll work through these together now. And so here we have a letter A, and this needs to be in the bass clef because the bass clef lines G, B, D, F, A. You could remember that. Good boys deserve football always. If that was in the treble clef, that would be a letter F, and so it would be incorrect. And so this also must be in the bass clef. Good boys, there's our B. And so bass clef again will make that note correct. Now here, this has to be a treble clef. The spaces in the treble clef spell face, F-A-C-E, and so that must be a treble clef in order to make it an F. Alternatively, you see the bass clef spaces are all cows eat grass, A-C-E-G. It's as if everything's dropped down or dropped a line or a space when you drop down into your bass clef. So that needs to be a treble clef. Now here, this middle C must be in the bass clef because middle C is at the top of the bass clef and the bottom of the treble clef as if you've met in the middle, and so this needs to be the bass clef to make that a C. Again, this is also the bass clef to make this an F sharp, because if you count up good boys deserve football, that would therefore be correct. Now here, this needs to be in the treble clef to make this a G. We have to just extend our thinking here because we know that the lines are every good boy deserves football. F is our top line, and so the next door note above F is G, and so we just need to work it out from a point that we already know. This next one is also in the treble clef. If you remember, the spaces spell face, F-A-C, therefore this is a C sharp if it's placed with a treble clef. This also is treble clef, and we can work that out in two ways. If this is C, we've already worked this one out. This one is down a step from C to B, with the flat of course making it B flat. So we can see we've gone down a step, or also every good boy is our B in treble clef as well. Now if you remember, the spaces in the treble clef spell face, F-A-C-E, and so that must be also treble clef. And then finally this last one must be in bass clef, as the lines are good boys deserve football always, so there's our G. So it just takes a little bit of thinking. If you find it difficult to jump between those clefs, you can always give yourself a little bit of a key to work from on your scrap paper. So just write out those poems just to before you start anything that you can keep referring back to. If you find it difficult, just keep juggling between the two clefs. Just map it out first of all before you even start answering any questions, and that way you can easily keep referring back to it. And so this next one is a similar topic where we need to be naming the notes. This time, however, we're not jumping from clefs, we're just staying within the treble clef, and helpfully they give us note G here. And so we've always got a starting point here. And so if it were that you found the previous question tricky, you could always answer this one first and then use this as a reference point to help you with the question 4. In an exam, you don't have to answer questions in the correct order. You can come to them in any order you prefer. And so if this is a G, the next door note above that must be an A. And we know that's correct because the space is spelled F-A, face, F-A-C-E. So here, F-A-C, there is our next note. Now here we know that the lines are every good boy deserves football. However, F isn't quite the complete answer because remember we are in a key signature here of F sharps, and so that means that every F is sharpened, and so we must also show that we've noticed that and we know that this is F sharp. If this is note F, I know the sharp is in place, but that line is note F. This next one down a step must be E, next door note E. And we also know that the space is spelled face, F-A-C-E. There we go. And then here, again, if we refer to this top line, we know that that top line is F, every good boy deserves football, and so one above F is G. Let's move on. So this one here, we know that the poem is every good boy and so on. So every good, this is also a G. And if we count, if you're not sure, count up from here to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so we know that we've gone a whole octave. Nearly there. So this every good boy, that's letter name B. And carrying on with that, every good boy deserves, D tells that this is note D. And that's the first part of that question complete. And so let's move on to the next one. And we need to explain the time name of the rest marked here. And so we could use either the classical term or the other terminology just to explain this one beat rest. And so the answer is either a crotchet rest, or alternatively you could say a quarter note rest. Either of those will be acceptable. And so let's turn over the page. And we're going now to page 9. And we need to name the key signatures. We need to name the major keys as shown by the key signatures. They've given us the first one. And so here they've given us some help to answer, showing exactly what they need. We know that G major has a key signature of F sharps. In many respects the clef is irrelevant. The sharps are just positioned in a different place. Here we have every good boy deserves football. Good boys deserve football, but one sharp is always F sharps. Just as one flat is always B flats, and we know that B flat is the key signature for the scale or the key of F major. Two sharps, F sharps and C sharps, it's always those same two sharps, is the key signature for D major. Just a point of interest, if you notice the sharp is the 7th degree of the scale, so F sharp to G on the last sharp, so C sharp is the last sharp, 7 to 8 to the D, just an extra clue there to make sure that you can name those keys. The last sharp is always the 7th degree of the scale. Only with sharps, not with flats though, just an extra checkpoint there. Now a key signature with no sharps or flats, that's C major. They're easy enough to remember if you just give a little bit of revision. And so we've already answered that two sharps is D major. And in actual fact, they've already given us the answer here, showing us that a key signature with one sharp is G major. So they've helpfully shown us that. There we go. And so We'll leave the paper here and we'll address the final questions in the last video. I do hope that you're finding this helpful. I hope that you're enjoying it. I'm certainly enjoying working through it with you. If you can give me a like, that'd be really encouraging, and please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more to come. Please also do visit sharonbill.com and make use of all of the information and resource that's available to help you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.